Hello, everybody. I'm Tom, child number 3. I am also very honored that I gave the permission for Dad to marry Helen. This is a beautiful day in Redlands, and I know how much Dad loved this town. So it really makes me filled with joy. That's such a sad occasion, but what a wonderful time to celebrate Dad and celebrate Redlands. Katie mentioned it. I don't know how many people have said, one of the finest men I've ever met. For me, definitely the same case. I would call him a mountain of a man. It's imagined as someone who has not had more impact on so many people in this community. I'd like to honor him with sharing with you memories centering around 3 themes of Jim Fallows as I've known him. Everybody knows man of service. Man of service to the medical community, man of service to the Redlands community, the Plymouth Village community. Can you imagine what it's like growing up in a family with Dad as a man of service? I thought it was normal that you never got to see your dad on a Sunday because he's going to be going to the hospital. I thought it was normal that you always had to call the clinic to find out where your dad was. I thought it was normal, and we heard about this occasion, I can describe in more detail, that we were in this car driving down Redlands Boulevard in the evening, and there was an ambulance in front of Phil's restaurant. And we would have continued, and I thought, well, of course we should have continued. No, Dad pulled over because there was an ambulance. He wanted to find out if people needed help, and so that's how he saved that guy's life. We were just driving out that evening. One other aspect, though, as Katie mentions, the funny side of life with Tiger Jim, is that by a man of service, medical service, we all learned the secret code called take sure of time. Because as a kid growing up in this household, I didn't think you ever needed medical care because everything was cured through take sure of time. Only after leaving Jim's household did I have to learn to actually have doctor visits. Because some things get fixed better with medicine. But tincture of time was one thing I learned. The second theme, so first theme is man of service. The second is man of action. Man of sports, if you see the obituary with him playing tennis and jumping on. There's another picture I have, I cherish, of him running with a Roman gladiator thing in Redlands. He made a bet with the YMCA that he would run around Redlands with that. One of the earliest memories I have as a young kid was he would take us camping in Green Lake. Another memory for us in our household was the mountain of a man, this was before Katie was born, would lie on the floor and we'd do wrestling. And Jim, Sue, and I would try to tackle him, try to turn him over, but he would be the rock of the man. We could never knock him down. I was the envy of Boy Scout group on the Easter vacation, and sometime in the 60s we had a scouting episode in the Colorado River. And Dad drove the car for the other guys. I was in another car, and all the other guys said, "Hey, your dad was driving over 100 miles an hour." And he didn't get a ticket. But as Katie said, be very careful with this man of action when you ask for help. You better be ready to do the action right then. You can't sort of mosey into it. One thing that Jim and I will remember, much to my chagrin, as a sportsman, I happen to like things like the Rose Bowl. Dad didn't. And there was a time when it was time to clean up the lawn and rake the leaves. It happened to be January 1st. The USC Trojans were in the Rose Bowl against Wisconsin, if you remember, 1961. We were in the 4th quarter, 10 minutes to go. Dad had the truck, time to go. So Jim and I were with the radio in the truck driving to the pound to throw to dump off the leaves. But he was a man of action. You got to move now. Thirdly, a man of truth, a man of learning, a brilliant man, a scholar. We as little kids would get tested every week. He subscribed to Wisdom magazine. I've never seen it before, never seen it since, but it's something that he had a subscription to. And we'd always have to be the first to guess, was that Albert Einstein or Joshua Heifetz or whatever. And so Manuel Kant, at the age of 4 years old, is supposed to remember that. So he is a man of great curiosity. You look at his library, you'll see self-help books about bridge, how to learn Greek. learning Greek by correspondence in Mississippi and things like that. Everybody knows of him as a computer man and a self-made man for the computers, but I as a kid remember him as an electronics man. And he would, I learned, he'd teach me how to splice radio wires and things like that. What also we forget is the fact that he, as a man of learning, a man of education, he was also an honest man and an open-minded man. I have never ever found him being a man of prejudice, never in my life. I've never ever known him to be a dishonest man. So only with Uncle Bob's comment about third grade, I think that's when I've only known him to be an honest man, honest to God. Last is a man of serenity. One thing that we know with the piano playing is also Dad plays the piano. And he would play it very beautifully, but I know it'd always be a time of serenity for him playing the piano, typically waiting for us to leave to go to church, and he'd be very serenely, patiently playing the piano, waiting for the rest of us to go. The serenity and peacefulness would be also when we'd be driving to church, going at 5 miles an hour, not 100 miles an hour. He was not a man to ask tormented questions about life. I remember as a kid once, and I was struggling with philosophy and what's the meaning of it all, asking Dad, did you struggle with these questions yourself? Nope. But I also understand he had no demons. He's a man of peace, and I know very well that he's at peace now, and so that's why I'm so happy here.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sue. I'm number 2. First, I want to thank Reverend Howard. Isn't he the best chooser of the music you have ever heard in your life? Thank you so much. It's just wonderful. And I do want to tip my hat off to George Roday and hope that he gets out of the hospital so soon. He has been one of the dearest people in my family's life here in Redlands. He married me and my husband, John. Well, actually, he didn't marry us, but he conducted our marriage. And he was just a pal of Dad and introduced him to painting and sculpture and horseback riding and spent many, as Katie said, treacherous night up in the mountain. And so George is with us here in spirit. You all know, you all know Dad as a member of your various communities, as just a marvelous doctor who gave his all to keeping you well, nights and days for so many years, as a member of the library board, friend of the libraries. He was really a friend of the library. Friend of the University of Redlands, friend of Fort Knightley Club, a loving bridge player, who's probably actually kind of a rascally bridge player, would be my guess. He had so much fun with the Rim of the World writers and playing tennis and everything. So you all know him in those ways, and I really thank you for embracing him and welcoming him to your community. He loved it here. He loved Plymouth Village, and you really made him feel so at home. And he loved Redlands. I know he loved Pennsylvania, but he loved Redlands. And he really loved you all for your friendship and your concern for him. So we're really gathered here with you